biggest regret in life is maybe not spending more time with my mom. Well, like my mom, she was always a little weird. Like in life, she was always a little weird. But like every year near my birthday, she would make trayfuls of gingerbread cookies and pass them out to my classmates with like a handwritten card to like thank them for being my friend, which it was like okay. Like she still loved me a lot. Like if you stepped into our house, you would find our walls plastered top to bottom with every piece of shitty art school that I had ever done, you know? It would get to the point where I would just throw my creations away before getting home because I didn't want her to like just knack another shitty art on the wall. And the strangest thing about my mom though is that like she talked to our trees and like she even named them. There was Daphne the lemon tree, you know, Carl the pomegranate tree, Joseph the oak. The oak was bigger than a sapling, but it was still far from a mature tree. And sometimes I would even find her in the backyard having full-blown one-sided conversations with the trees. And one day I told her that, you know, that was talking to trees like that was a little bit weird. And she said that, you know, she said, hey, I mean, they need to feel loved, you know, and then she would just wait until I'd get back into the house before continuing the conversation where she left off. And sometimes she would even insist that we dress up in our nicest clothing and pose by the trees so she could take pictures of us with like her timer-operated camera. And I always knew she was far from a normal mother, but honestly all we had was each other, and she did give me all the affection a mother could give. But when I moved out for college, I made sure to stay close because I really couldn't bear to leave her alone. And I told her this one day, and she kissed my forehead like lovingly, and she told me that it was okay because she had Carl, Daphne, and Joseph to keep her company. As I grew older, I saw less and less of her, you know, like work, friends, and like a love life took more of my time. And I only got to see her like maybe once every 2 weeks or so. And one night I was at the bar with my friend actually, and that's when I got the call that my mother died. She had a stroke, and our neighbor spotted her through the fence, sprawled on the ground by the trees. And like a few days later, the funerals happened, and only a few family members and friends showed up. But that was fine. It was always mostly just me and her, like I said. And she was cremated shortly after the ceremony, and I took her urn home with me. And in her will, she only had one request of me, and that was that I continue to take care of and talk to the trees. And I mean, I took care of them for sure, but I really couldn't bring myself to talk to plant life, you know? And one day I finally got the courage to go like through her stuff in her room, and I found an envelope in her desk with a cache of papers inside. And I looked through them, and I was pretty shook at what I found. There were 3 stillborn death certificates for a baby Joseph, baby Carl, and baby Daphne. And like I had never known that I had siblings, and I'd never seen any urns before, but that day I understood where she had buried their remains, and I understood why she spoke to the trees. And yeah, ever since I take her last wish very seriously, and I talk to the trees. And recently I actually even planted a new one for my mother.